Virtual Counter Day. I'm glad to be here with Tom Miller of EcoTurf Midwest to basically tell us about the products that they sell. So, Tom, you want to
I'll jump right in. Yeah, we're based out of the Chicago area, so we get to experience the hot summers and the cold, frigid winters. Our core product is bringing solutions to the industry that are not me-too items. So we work on conservation of either water, time, labor, money. So that's kind of how we've integrated into the erosion control, irrigation, and landscape markets. So diving right into some of our products, EcoTurf was founded in the 90s, and we acquired the company in 2013 and inherited some biodegradable stakes. And we're heavily involved with the golf and turf industries, but we ventured into where a lot of anchoring and staples are used, and that's to reseed and revegetate constructed land to prevent erosion from happening. And in seeing this, we identified quite the problem. There's thousands of miles of erosion blanket, that straw blanket you see pictured, and each blanket needs to be anchored down by some sort of fastener, and that process is not only very time consuming, but it could be painful if it's done properly. And there aren't really many tools out there or options to anchor. So the current solution that gets specified everywhere is the U-shaped 11-gauge steel staples. Nothing in their design keeps them in the ground, so they kind of lend themselves to backing out of the ground, rusting, and kind of causing some liability issues. And many times shortcuts are used to install them, so they aren't even installed properly, so you have half bent staples out of the ground, and that just causes tons of problems, especially in installations that are residential, or where you're in a park or a school, anywhere where you're going to have some foot traffic or mowers.
Yeah, Tom, I can't even imagine being, doing sod or something with those staples and then walking barefoot on it a couple of years later and having these things sticking through. That would be
sure. It's sort of like staple roulette is how we kind of view it with a lot of the installations going in. And because this has really been the only reliable solution for contractors, it just kind of is accepted practice to install with really a subpar device to anchor a solution, a blanket down, or any kind of TRM. And so we approach this and this really needs an upgrade. So we developed a line of biodegradable stakes, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches in length, and we're able to design holding power into the stake to prevent them from backing out of the ground. So the fact that they're biodegradable is a nice eco-friendly aspect of this, but in general, plant-based plastics are much safer to have in a yard, park, or school, or anywhere really where you have foot traffic or mowers. If they clip this stake by accident, it's not going to cause heavy damage or injury. Plus the fact that they're designed to stay in the ground already gives them a leg up over the steel staples that are used everywhere. So our push has been trying to get landscape contractors and specifiers more aware that there's a good option out there. The history behind biodegradable stakes is in order to make them cost competitive, they chimp out on the design, and if you have a stake that fails in the field, it's useless to the contractor no matter how eco-friendly or safe it is. So we tackled it from building a quality solution for contractors to be able to reliably use in the field. So those barbs and channels in each stake collect soil, and it prevents them from being pushed out of the ground during frost heave conditions or tectonic movements, which happen everywhere.
Right. Whereas with the metal staples, we see them all the time in the springtime, yep, pushed up out of the ground. I know I use a lot for holding drip tube down, and in the springtime, yeah, you'll see where the staples come halfway out of the ground.
Yeah. So. Now our biodegradable stakes are more geared towards fabric, matting, and blanket. That's we designed it. We are hoping to come up with something for drip down the road. It's building something that's quality enough but not overly costly is the challenge that we're trying to navigate through.
What about for sod, Tom? Can we use those for sod? Or
yeah, sometimes sod is not stapled down. If it's on an incline, they will staple it down, and our stakes are perfect to be used with sod too.
Okay, good.
The secret is in the science. This technology has been around for 30 years. And basically, we're able to take recycled plastic headed for a landfill, repurpose it, add an additive into it, and at the end of the day, you're ending up with something that's completely biodegradable. Carbon dioxide, water, and humus, basically compost, is what the stakes end up being in about 3 years or so. And we've had testing done on both the biodegradability as well as the holding power comparison, and really it's not much of a comparison at all. Even our 4-inch biodegradable stake has more holding power than a 6-inch steel staple that's used everywhere. One important thing, if you decide to upgrade to biodegradable stakes, is a 4-inch bio is equal to a 6-inch steel, 6 to 8-inch steel, 8-inch bio to 12-inch steel. It's important to know that because whenever you add length onto a fastener, the longer that fastener is, the more difficult it is to get into the ground. So the 4-inch is ideal for hard ground, 6-inch for softer ground, and 8-inch for real sandy soils. It'd be sort of like using a machine screw to screw into wood. You're gonna bang your head against the wall. If you don't use the right stake length, you're gonna have the same issues when you hit installation. The biggest challenge with those steel staples is getting them into the ground. So we developed a tool to install our biodegradable stakes. So we don't just have biodegradable stakes, we have a staking system, which includes a bag, replacement attachments at the bottom if there's wear or if you have different kind of installations. And the tool is one at a time, which actually is a benefit in the long run because it keeps the tool light, it prevents any jamming, and allows you to reliably install the stakes into any ground condition. Our bag comes with a belt, so you load up, and we actually made it 50% bigger now. You load up about 75 to 100 of our biodegradable stakes. You walk, you load, and you staple. The staple does get fully contained in there, so that allows the stakes to get installed in even hard ground condition without having failure. And really, do we have receipts? Yes, we have receipts. We had a 55-acre landfill job. They were doing 1 acre a day before they started using our Staple-Ease BioPro driver and with our 4-inch biodegradable stakes. Once we gave them 4 tools for their crew, they doubled their output, and that estimated to be about $18,000 in labor savings. Here's a little quick video showing them installing it behind the machine, rolling out the blanket, and they're all able to do it upright. So imagine at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're working at a certain rate, but if you're not having a tool to be able to install it on your feet, how long can you efficiently bend over to put a staple in the ground? And that's where this tool really brings value to your crew and to your job site, because you're going to get stuff done faster and your crew is going to be fresher to move on to the next task. Just to tie into the staple driver, we do have a version for the U-shaped 11-gauge steel staples, and that'll get the staples in right. It's built for single load because that's how those staples are made, and it has a magnet to make the loading really quickly, and the staple does get fully contained. So if you're stuck with using steel staples due to a spec or you're just stubborn, we do have a tool to put those in as well and save you up to 75% stapling time by using this tool. There is an adapter for drip line, low voltage wire, as well as 2 others for different kind of flat surface installations. So moving on to our next line of products that is all about saving time and money. One thing we noticed is that millions and millions of trees are planted everywhere. And the problem with young trees being planted is they usually need a little bit of help with irrigation the first 2 to 3 years before they're established. And there aren't a whole lot of solutions out there that are really beneficial to contractors. The biggest one that we see are the tree watering bags, or the manual watering. And even the slow release bags, they have their limitations. You fill them up, they release water within 24 hours. So if it happens to rain that evening after you fill up the tree watering bag, they don't know it. It's going to release the water anyway. They can get clogged. Critters can use them to stay cool in the hot summers, which could be a real surprise if you go to fill them up. But if they get clogged, it just becomes a reservoir around a tree rather than actually irrigation. And unless you stick around to check to see if they are irrigating, you might have issues in the field. They don't do anything to block weeds or prevent other plants from taking the water they release. So really it's an inefficient system. In fact, over 90% of the water released by tree watering bags is not used by the tree. So we worked with some inventors, and over 6 years of development came up with a solution called the tree diaper smart watering mats. And tree diaper is a different animal altogether. It's not a bag with a hole in it. Rather, it's a weed barrier top with a mesh underbelly that has the super absorbent polymers inside that get used in potting soils. But these are a higher concentrated, more powerful version of these polymers. So when they absorb and store water, they'll take roughly 30 days to empty out completely and irrigate into the soil. Plus, one of the biggest benefits is that if it rains, the tree diaper refills itself with that rain. 1 inch of rain per 30 days is typically enough to keep them self-sustaining, where you don't have to go fill them or add water to the tree at all. So really it's unparalleled water management. It actually prevents overwatering, which can be an issue for some overly aggressive people that see a real big plant and want to saturate the soils. That's not good for a tree either. Plus, tree diaper also suppresses weeds, and it lessens the impact of any road salt exposure for trees planted along medians or sidewalks. So it's doing a whole lot more than just watering. And in addition, it's irrigating a targeted 360-degree root zone. So it's irrigating the entire circumference of the tree, and that means feeder root growth is encouraged to go out in every direction. That means healthier, better established trees. And because it refills with rain, you're reducing your labor cost by 75% to 100% even. Plus you, as you can see in the picture, conceal it with mulch, so that reduces vandalism, but also makes it just look nicer, and also helps the efficiency of the product. Here's a little visual impact, and BluGreen Solutions services the eastern part of the country. So you're in luck, because anyone who buys tree diaper in the eastern part of the country, for the most part, once it's charged and installed, you'll never probably have to add water for 3 years or for the entire establishment. Tree diaper lasts up to about 5 years. It's pretty much guaranteed to last the establishment period of any tree that gets planted. It is meant for younger nurseries. But in the eastern part of the country, on average, with 1 inch of rain per month, and the eastern part of the country gets usually double that, tree diaper is the solution without having to send out watering trucks or watering crews. So what is your use and installation? For late spring, summer plantings, you're going to want to soak this ahead of time in a tank, kid pool, garbage can, water the tree, and then install the soaked mat. They do plump up pretty large, and then cover with mulch. The nice thing about heading into fall is that you can skip this step, and all you're doing is setting the tree diaper out, stapling it down, or covering with mulch, and then any melting snow or winter precipitation, when it melts, it fills up the tree diaper for spring, and you're good to go. Your maintenance goes down from sending out watering crews and filling up bags to using a soil moisture probe and spot checking the trees, taking a look at them to see if the leaves are sagging or browning, to know if, oh, maybe this tree needs more water. Some trees, there are a lot of species variations and soil types that can make it just not a completely hands-off product, but your management of the trees that are planted goes way down using tree diaper.
Yeah, I would imagine that the warranty obligation would go down because of the fact that, you know, being able to have a reliable source of water on that tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can warranty trees with confidence using tree diaper. We had one contractor in St. Charles County didn't have a budget to water, so they installed 800 trees. They lost 700 of them because they didn't have a watering plan. And they cut the next year. They decided to invest in tree diaper with their tree watering because they still didn't have the means to go out and send out watering crews. But the tree diaper cut the failure rate by 90%.
Yeah.
Here's it's on the Arbor Day Foundation, Trees for Houston. The list is growing of advocates and people that are switching over to tree diaper. If you're looking for spec sheets, sell sheets, more information, our webpage is available 24/7. On the top right, specification and downloads, pretty much all that information is there, or you can follow up with BluGreen Solutions. They'll happily coordinate getting you what you need. If you're interested in reviewing a sample, we can arrange that as well. And just a quick recap, we're all about increasing your efficiency and profitability, reducing your liability, and helping your job site be a little bit better with eco-friendly and conservation focus with our products. So that's all I have with our main, our core products. Any questions or things you want to chime in with, John?
No, I think I'm pretty good there, Tom. Thanks for taking the time to do this. We appreciate it. As always, two great products. And if anyone, once again, as Tom said, wants any additional information, feel free to reach out to me as well, John at BluGreenSolutions.com, and we'll be happy to help you out on what you need.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, thank you very much.